Good morning. Welcome to episode 31 of Dinner from the Dining Car. It's June 6th, 2021. Today we're making the Great Northern Railroad's ranch hand beef stew. This is one of those recipes when I looked at it I thought, wow, this is going to be yummy. There's a whole lot of different stuff in here. And surprisingly, contains no potatoes or solid carbohydrates. But here's what you're going to need for this recipe. You're going to need a roast, or you can buy a couple of pounds of stewing meat. In this area, stew meat is getting extremely expensive, and what was actually cheaper was a 2-pound tri-tip. So we're going to be using tri-tip in this stew today. We're going to cut this up and cube it. And then we have to do some other stuff with it. You're going to need some flour because you're going to use it not only to stir the beef in, but you're going to make a little roux to add to the stew once you put everything else in it to kind of thicken it up. You're going to need a couple of stalks of celery, 2, maybe 3 stalks. You're going to need carrots. Fortunately, I have carrots left over from baking my carrot cake yesterday. So you'll need 2 or 3 good-sized carrots. Now you're going to have to peel these and then cut them into relatively good-sized chunks. You're going to need an onion. You're going to cut this up, dice it, and you're going to be cooking that in with the carrots and celery. You're going to need 1, possibly 2 quarts of beef stock, depending on how much vegetables, how much you use. You're going to need a can of baby peas. Now, Leisure is a very good brand of these, but if you happen to have an Aldi near you, you can pick up their version of very young sweet peas for about half the price you can of Leisure. You're also going to need some mild chili beans. These will both be opened and drained and added into the stew once you get everything else. This will be the last 2 ingredients. You're going to need pepper, salt, paprika, and to cook everything in, to brown everything in, to brown the meat, you're going to need some olive oil. Now this recipe cooks slow and low. It's a 6-hour kind of thing. So you've got a couple of good choices. 1, you can make this in a Dutch oven or a large stock pot and babysit it for 6 hours, stirring it so it doesn't burn. Or you can do, the easy cheating way out like I'm going to do and use a slow cooker. Either way, the results should be fantastic. Now, the Great Northern served this on the Empire Builder and the Western Star. And it was actually, according to the history I've managed to dig up, quite popular. So I want to give it a shot and see if it's worthy of the praise that it has received. So anyway, we'll be back later after I get the celery and the carrots and the onions and the roast all cut up, and then we'll put it together and we'll start cooking. We'll see you then. Okay folks, we're back. We have 2 stalks of celery, 3 stalks of celery, 3 carrots, and half an onion already cut and diced. We have our 2-pound roast already cut and cubed. Now comes the fun. You need to get half a cup of flour, onto the roast. Then you need tablespoons. Where are my I washed these and then forgot to leave them out. That was crazy. I washed my measuring spoons, and knowing I was going to need them, I went and put them away anyway. So you need a tablespoon of paprika, and then salt, lots of it, and pepper. Oh, this already smells yummy. Now, what you have to do, once you get this all in the bowl, make sure your hands are clean. You need to get in here, toss this around until everything's pretty well coated. Now I have on the stove, I have some olive oil heating because we need to brown this. Oh, this looks good already. Here you have, here's your roast, all covered with the flour and the paprika and the salt and pepper. Let me rinse off my hands. Spoon. Yeah, that olive oil's hot. So what you're going to do, let me move the camera. Oh, that's perfect. That's pretty good. We have the olive oil heating. It's good and hot. And you're going to take this, and you're going to brown it. Now, like I said, this is a 2-pound tri-tip, which I got because basically by the way, you'll have some flour mixture left over in the bottom of the bowl. Do not throw that away because you're going to put it into the stew. And you're just going to saute all this in the olive oil until it browns. Now this should brown pretty quickly because of the flour. But you just want to keep tossing it around, tossing it around. You might need to add a little more olive oil because obviously I didn't add enough. There's not a specific measurement on this. It's kind of a sight thing because you're just using this to brown the beef, which smells really good already. And then when you're done, you'll put it in your crock pot over here, which I already have heating. By the way, here's a word of advice on slow cookers. Don't put things into a cold slow cooker. Always preheat your slow cooker on low or high, depending on what level you're going to use to cook. Oh, I just want to grab a piece of these and taste it. Probably because I haven't had anything to eat today. And you may want to crack a little more salt and pepper on it, just for giggles. Now, one thing that's optional for this, if you like your food with a little more bite, would be to add not only the tablespoon of paprika, but a tablespoon of cayenne pepper, or a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. That will really, that'll really knock this around spice-wise. But Judy and I, especially I, can't handle a whole lot of spicy food, so this seems to be just about right. Oh, and that 2 pounds, if you look at how nicely that is browning. That's almost done. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much browned. snag a tiny little piece for me to eat. Oh, that is going to be so good. Okay, once your meat's browned, you take it over to Mr. Crockpot and you dump it in the bottom. Now, you're going to put some more olive oil back into the frying pan, the skillet. Oh, that's good meat. That's a really good tri-tip. Again, I went with tri-tip for this recipe because, well, stewing beef is getting way too expensive. I mean, I paid $5.99 a pound for the tri-tip, and the stewing beef was $6.29 a pound. So I figured for 2 pounds, I can cut it up myself. So you get some more olive oil in your pan, get your vegetables, toss them in the pan, and you're going to stir them up a little bit, kind of sweat them down. Well, I have a minute for that. Remember in the intro I said you had a can of beans and a can of baby peas. Well, you need to get those open and drained. Which is a relatively easy job. Drain good enough. Oh, this smells so good. There's a word for this, the celeries, onions, and carrots. There's a French term for what you call this, but right now I can't remember it. It's a fancy French term for this. If anyone knows that term off the top of their head, please send me an email with it, or make a comment once the video's up, so I can file it away for future reference. Here now, peas open. Oh my, that's good. That's good roast. This all smells so darn good. And you may want to snap a little salt and pepper on this stuff too. Just a hair. The aroma from this stuff cooking is, oh man, this'll make your nose happy, happy, happy. This will make your nose all sorts of happy. That smells so good. The celery, the carrots, and the onions. Now once these have cooked down a little bit, and these look like they have, you just want to sweat them a little bit. You don't want to cook them full. You just want to sweat them a little. Then you'll take those over to your crock pot. And you'll do the same thing. You'll just dump them in there. Let me adjust the camera so you can see the crock pot better. There we go. Zoom in a little bit on the crock pot. There. That's much better. Much better. Oops, wrong way. Okay. Now that you have that in the crock pot, open up your stock. You're also going to want, before you open this, shake it up, because sometimes stocks start to separate. We don't want that. And then you just pour that puppy all over. Yeah, I'm going to need two. You're probably going to need 2 bottles of stock, because one just ain't cutting it. One just ain't enough stock. Now I probably won't use the whole quart of stock. I'll probably just use half of it. Because that's a lot of... Screw it. We're going all in. We're going to go all in. Okay. Now, you have your beans. Excuse me. You have your beans and your peas opened and drained, and you're just going to pop them in. Okay. Now, the rest of that flour, paprika, salt, and pepper mixture, you're going to give this a stir. And then you're going to dump what's left of that mix in here. And you're going to give it another complete stir so that flour mixture kind of melts a little bit. Oh, that is looking so tasty already. That is looking so tasty already. Let me bring the camera over here so you can see that, guys. This looks good. There you have it. Give it a stir so you can see everything that's in there. And isn't that just pretty? Okay, folks, here we go. It's about 5 o'clock, and we're getting ready to serve this. This has been making this kitchen smell incredible all afternoon. So it started to boil earlier, so I had to kind of turn it down. But here is your beef stew. And I've had a little sample of this with the tri-tip was really the way to go in terms of the meat, because A, it was a little less expensive, and B, it has just turned out so darn tender. This is amazing. So anyway, Judy's taking a nap right now, so we're gonna serve this in about an hour. And we've changed our minds. We're not gonna have it with the Texas toast. Judy came up with an idea that sounded infinitely better. We're going to serve it on top of rice. So I bought some more instant white rice. We'll make some of that, and then we will call that dinner. Anyway, there it is, guys. Your Great Northern ranch hand beef stew. If you decide to make this, I think you're going to enjoy it, because this whole kitchen has a smell in it right now that is just off the charts. So thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along on this little ride. Again, if you do me a favor, hit the like button, and please, please, please subscribe if you haven't already. If for questions or comments or copy of the recipe, email me at dinnerfromthediningcar@yahoo.com. And thanks for watching, and have yourself a pleasant rest of your day.